Hi everyone, I know it's been a while since I've posted a video to my YouTube channel, so I wanted to post this for anybody who has a Q24 or Q20 or Q16 Bernina long arm. One of the confusing things for me when I first started using my long arm was when I get my design set, and I advance my quilt to the next row, how to reset the design so that it picks up exactly where you want it to pick up. And I know other people have posted videos like this out there, but sometimes more information is better than no information or not enough information. So I just want to post a little video here to show my process. So I've completed about 3 or 4 rows on my quilt here, and I'm getting ready to do the next row. So the first thing I want to do, I've already pulled up my bobbin thread, and I've already unhooked my bungee cords, and I'm getting ready to advance the quilt. So this is my design. So I've done 3 rows. So these are the 3 rows I've completed. I have not trimmed the rows I have not completed, just in case I need to stop so I don't lose my place and I don't forget where I'm at. So it's right now on the screen, it's showing that I've finished this 3rd row. So I'm going to advance my quilt. So let me unhook my rollers here. I'm going to just give it a little bit of slack and come over here and advance my top where I've got more room to work and I can kind of watch and see. Actually, I don't even really need to take the tension off of the top bar. I'm going to leave it there because that'll help hold it in place. Let me just move my long arm completely out of the way of the quilt. So you can see right now I got my slack, and I'm going to try to keep my back straight here. Give it a little more slack. I want to have enough room to do another row, but have some of the design at the top so I can reset my design for the next row. And I need to trim my batting. I've been trimming my batting as I go because my batting is a little bit long, but I think I'm just going to leave it for now. So let me just kind of get my quilt straightened out. All right, let me take the slack off of the bottom, tighten it up just a hair. Make sure everything stays straight. Reset my little bungee. So my little bungees help mark my rows. So I can kind of make sure that my quilt is staying straight, as straight as I can get it as I'm quilting it. So it helps. I love this little bungee system here that works really, really well. All right, so I've got my tension off here. I'm going to reset my bungees. Again, I got too much batting on my right side here as well. Kind of hard to do this with one hand. I'm working with one hand. Well, I'll try to hold my foam. I've got a GoPro, but unfortunately the battery was dead in it. I thought I had charged it, and apparently I didn't, so I'm doing this with my phone, so bear with me. I apologize. Get my bungees reset here. I do need to trim that batting. All right, so I've advanced it, so you can see I've still got some of the design here showing, so I can tell the machine where to restart. Get some of these threads off there, just kind of hanging. And the next thing I want to do is, because I kind of semi-float my quilt instead of using the bottom bar, I have these quilt clips. So once I get everything set, I'm going to put my clips on just to hold my quilt from shifting on me. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do, and I'm going to turn the video off and restart for this part, is I'm going to tack down. So I'm just tacking down my sides. So I'm going to tack down both of my sides, and then I'll come back and pick back up to show you how to reset your design. All right, so I've got my sides tacked down now, and now I'm going to get ready to reset my design, but I'm going to pull my foot off so that I can see my laser. So there's my laser. And if you can see, I don't know, it's kind of hard to see, right here on this point of the quilt is going to be the easiest point for me to find on my computer screen. So I'm going to put my laser Whoops, it's kind of a little hard to maneuver because the belts are engaged, but I'm going to put my laser right there at that point. We're going to get pretty close here. Oh, there we are. Okay, so I'm about, hang on, get both my hands here where I can adjust it a little easier. Okay, all right, so now I've got my laser pretty much right there on that point, so I can put my foot back on. Let me see. Easier to do it with my right hand, I think. Okay, make sure I got it engaged really good. Okay, so I got my foot back on. Now I'm going to go over here to my computer screen because this is where all the magic happens. So I need to tell it to move from row 3 to row 4. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to my sew options. I'm going to DQ everything that I have queued, and I'm going to select the next section that I want, which is section 4. So I hit select, and I'm going to tap on that section right there, and I'm going to tell queue that section. And then we're going to tell it okay. All right, so now I've touched it so that it would turn it red. So right now my safe area is still selected on row 3. It's the only safe area that the machine thinks it can quilt is in row 3 because it does not know that you've rolled it up. So we've got to realign our safe area to row 4. So I've selected row 4, which is what I want to quilt. But the first thing I want to do is I want to trim my sides because I haven't trimmed yet. So I'm going to come over here to my trim function. And on your screen, if you've had the update, you can click on this little icon right here because this is what all of your options look like. For me, though, it's easier if I can see the words because I know what every icon means. So I can click my little eye, and there's my trim button. So I want to trim the vertical sides of my quilt. So on this screen, I'm going to select vertical, and I'm going to do it on the screen. I'm not going to do it from the sew head. So I'm selecting vertical, and the first one needs to be inverted because we're going to do the left side. So I'm going to click right where I want it to trim. Get a little closer, and you can see what turns black. Whoops, I just moved it. What turns black is what it's going to trim. So it's trimming everything to the left. So I'm going to hit select, and it's gone. Now I got to go back and do it again. Hit trim, hit vertical, but this time I'm not going to invert it because I want to do away with everything on the right. So I'm going to select where I want it to trim. I want it to trim right there. Okay, so now I've got it trimmed. Now I want to realign my safe area so that I can sew this out. So I know, let me zoom in. Well, hit my zoom in function. I know that on my quilt, my needle is sitting right there at that point, right where I finished row 3. So I zoom in so I can see that point really closely, and I'm going to come over here and say realign my safe area. And I'm going to tell it I want it to snap to point because I want it to snap the safe area to the point where my needle actually is on my quilt. So if I snap to point, and I come over here, and this is a little touchy. Sometimes it takes me a couple of tries to get it in the right spot. I'm going to snap to point right there. So I'm telling the machine that's where my needle is sitting on my quilt. So I come over here and tell it, okay. All right, so now I can zoom back out. And you can see it has moved my safe area down so that I can quilt row 4. It knows that my needle is sitting up here at this portion of row 3 where it finished quilting, but that I want to quilt row 4 because I've selected it and queued it. I've moved my safe area. Now all I have to do is hit the start button. And I'm going to tell it, take me to the start point. So the machine will move to the point where it needs to start. It takes it a minute. It's thinking about it. And there it goes. All right, so we are ready to start. So now I just need to bring up my bobbin thread. And I'm doing this with one hand. Normally I need to be holding that top thread when I go down to get my bobbin. Let's see if did I get it pulled up? Oh, I missed it. All right, let's go try it again. Needle down and up to grab that bobbin. All right, we got it that time. So there's my bobbin thread. There's my top thread. I'm going to hold both of those threads, I'm going to hit the start button on the screen. So let me hit the start button. Did it with my knuckle. All right. And it's going to start. And then I will trim those threads off with my handy dandy little scissors. And there we go. So we are now starting row 4. It's that simple. I hope this is helpful for somebody. So thanks for watching. Bye, y'all.